Okay. Well, hello, and welcome to Killing Even More. We just saw the Are You from Pinner episode. I am Karyn Bryant here with
Megan Olivi. Hi, my Wi-Fi's really bad. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully this works.
Yeah, folks, hopefully this does work. We are talking about Killing Even More, episode 5. Are You from Pinner? Now, Karyn Bryant here in Los Angeles. Megan Olivi is in Jacksonville, Florida. Folks who don't know, she and I work together on the UFC, and she's been covering fights. We had fights last night. So we're relying on the Wi-Fi at the hotel tonight, right, Megan? How's it feeling?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not feeling very confident about the Wi-Fi. It has been terrible, so hopefully it can be good to us for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, for a little bit. We're going to talk about Killing Eve, but those who know us from the fight game, we have to at least talk a little bit about the fights last night. Just an overview, Megan, how did it go for you? I know a lot of people were stressed out about fights going on during the coronavirus crisis and everything like that, the safety, the health of all the fighters. So how was it for you?
It was amazing. Honestly, it felt great. It felt super safe. It was actually very stress-free. It was busy, but it wasn't stressful. So it was one of the most fun events that I've ever. It was very, very memorable.
Cool. Well, and I know because this is the first sport back. I know I worked the Brasilia show, which was like the last one we had before this. So I know what you mean. Like there was this feeling of real solidarity. I think our team always has that, but like you really sort of felt like this us against the world thing, and like let's all pull together and pull this off.
Yeah, exactly. One time we have another one Wednesday, and then Saturday as well. So it's keeping us busy here in Florida, but we connect for more.
Right, definitely. All right, well, so let's talk about this Are You from Pinner episode, because in this one, Villanelle went home. You know, this was definitely a different episode than we have seen from some others. Yes, there is some killing. It is called Killing Eve, but Eve's not even in this episode. This was all about Villanelle going home to Mother Russia. So I'm kind of curious what your vibe was on this one.
It was an interesting vibe. I thought it was important to learn that story of Villanelle. But I don't know if I would have dedicated an entire episode to it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like you could have done a couple of segments and mixed in some action as well. So for me, I enjoyed it. I feel like we learned a lot about also genetically might run in her family and stuff like that. But I didn't saying that.
Yeah, I lost you on the end a little bit. I mean, I think what you're saying is yes, it could have been interesting to see her back home in Russia and maybe mix it in with some other things. I too was surprised that the whole episode was in Russia, but at the same time, I feel like we don't always necessarily get to enjoy Jodie Comer as an actress. Like, I mean, we do and we don't, right? But like, so to have a whole episode dedicated to her, to get her backstory and to see her act and to see her kind of go through a range of emotions in this episode, I thought actually was pretty gratifying when we got to the end.
No, absolutely. And I think it was really fun to find out how she can be, she is. What is that backstory that led as well. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. The acting, everything, I mean, it's superb. People don't give her credit for the great actress that she really is. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I just felt like it was a little dark, filled episode. Loved the Elton song, so I thought that was the most fun ever. Like rock. I just loved it.
Yeah. Well, yes. And that's why I have and I've done my tribute to the beginning of the episode. I didn't have a blue turtleneck, but I have this blue shirt here, and I had the tan blazer and the headphones. As we can see there, the turtleneck is from Courage, right? I don't have my glasses on here. And that one is 216. She had some cute plaid pants that I swear to God I've seen at Express. So you don't have to pay a lot for the pants for sure. She is wearing this tan blazer that she has. I think mine is J. Crew. Rest in peace, J. Crew. They have called Chapter 11 this week. But then also, I know we have a shot of the backpack, Wade, if we can get a shot of that cool backpack. Because, Megan, I know you and I, this is something, since we travel a lot, backpacks are key. I carry a Toomey, but I loved this Sandquist for $129 as well.
Oh, I thought it was a Herschel. I didn't even know it wasn't Herschel, so that's interesting. I really like that.
Yeah, it did look like a Herschel. You're right, because especially with that little square label, you thought it was, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, she looked really cute. And that's the thing. So with this episode, too, I kind of thought that it was interesting to go back home. But yeah, we did have to have the volume turned up a little louder. It was harder to understand necessarily everything. But we did find out that she goes home. She finds out. She sees her brother there. Here's a little shot. So one of those is her brother here on the far left. Then her mom had actually, I guess, remarried, right? So one of those guys is her mom's son. And the young boy is her now sort of half nephew, right? And of course, we see at the end of the episode that the young boy is spared, as is her brother. But the rest of them go kind of right to hell. And, you know, Megan, I texted with you before we kind of got into this, and I know it is Mother's Day, and it's specifically probably why they showed this episode today. But I have to say, like, and I'm not an emotional person. At the end, I thought that was really intense, and I thought that was pretty heavy. She kills her mom and some of these other family members now, and I liked that she kind of got closure, I guess. Yeah. But you could tell in the train that it was unnerving to her, and this is a woman who has killed many people.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting where she was saying, "I don't cry. I never cry." But she started crying in front of her mom, and then we saw her cry on the train. So it was almost like, I don't cry unless it's about you, that kind of thing. So I thought that was really deep. The end was so sad. But, you know, I also was then left sad, worried about, like, her brother and her nephew. Are they going to be okay? Like, they didn't have a lot of prospects. It looked like they both had some anger and maybe...
Right.
Issues loving themselves. And so I was just kind of like, I hope they'll be okay too.
Well, yeah, and the thing too is that she said at one point, right, to her brother or something, she said, you should leave, right? Mom just wants to control you. Like, you should go. I do think it's kind of funny that she's put this storyline together that she's a pilot, you know, and she's talking to the young boy about, like, all the places, like, he wants to see Elton, and she's talking about these places, and the storyline that she's a pilot, I thought was a clever cover for her going all these places. But yeah, like, it's weird as a person myself, and we've talked about this on several episodes of Killing Even More, that I am not the most emotional person, but, you know, you bring your mom into it. And that does change things.
And I can't imagine, like, seeing your mom again after she dropped you off in an orphanage and never came back for you. And then to hear the thing, you would think, okay, this lady, if she really is reformed as her mom, she would be so grateful to have her daughter back in her life. And the second chance that literally has been impossible because she was supposed to be dead. So your daughter returns, you know, and it's like, you should be doing everything you can to reestablish that relationship, especially considering how the last time you saw each other was.
Yeah.
But she wants her to go. She wants her to leave, and then she blames the dad leaving on Villanelle, which is insane.
Which is really insane, because she's saying you had all this darkness and everything, and that's messed up. You know, my parents were married all the way up until my father passed away. So I can't imagine what that feels like to, you know, even, you know, I know a lot of people have, you know, whatever, parents don't always stay married or whatever, but like to have somebody say, like, you're the reason we broke up or your father left or something, like, I can't even imagine the amount of guilt and like to say that to a young person, right? Like, that's terrible.
It seems to be a theme within that family, because the mom of the nephew, was that her sister-in-law, told him at such a young age that he embarrassed her, and, you know, he was stupid and he was an embarrassment to them. And that is such a fragile age anyway, but to say something like that, it really sticks. And you could see him, you know, he's hitting his head on the wall, he's hitting the head with his hand, and it almost seems like that's the next generation of that abuse occurring within that family, the exact same thing that happened to Villanelle. It's super sad.
Right. It's really sad. And also, didn't she have a shirt on that said, "What are you going to do about it?" Which, by the way, I loved. And I was like, I kind of want one of those. But at the same time, that summarized like the attitude and the vibe and like, what are you going to do about it? Like, are you going to suck it? Are you going to put your big girl panties on and like make something, like, what are you going to do about it? I thought that was kind of a subtle like hint to an overarching theme of the episode.
Oh yeah, and she did something about it. I don't know if she would have been haunted the rest of her life by that, because it's like, what would have been the harm in leaving them? Because they would have just been there doing that life that you would never be a part of again.
Right.
What would be had any sort of existence happy once she left?
It's interesting. She didn't have to blow them all away, but at the same time, we know that like a clear cut of the past might be the best thing. And even though she left her brother and the nephew, what'll be interesting now though, because obviously the search for family and understanding herself, and then they did sort of confirm, right? They said, "Oh, you were a beautiful baby," but then they said like, "You had a big head though," or something, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, they can never just say anything loving or nice. It always had to come with a but.
Always with a but. But I wonder now, like, what this will do to her moving forward, having the answers that she was seeking. And I mean, I don't know if it'll affect who she is, right? I mean, she seemed contrite about killing people. When she said to her mom, "I've killed a lot of people," like, she seemed legitimately sad and everything. And I also thought the part where I wrote it down where she said, when she wanted her mom to wipe the fake blood out of her eyes, and the mom says, "Well, you're not a child," and she said, "But I want to feel like one." And I just thought this was so sad. Like, you really saw, and we know that yes, she was put in this orphanage and all this, and you saw that, we know Villanelle's theme, that the child, that inner child is such a big part of it. But I thought that was so sad when she said that. I want to feel like one. You're like, this is a woman who never got to be a kid.
And I almost feel like that was also like a foreshadowing where she was giving her mom the opportunity to say like, okay, now's your chance to mother. Right. We're reunited and we're back. This is your opportunity to have this second chance for both of us. Right. And then her mom, she wipes it off so nice. And then she's like, "You need to leave." You know what I mean? Like, she couldn't just have that moment even and go upstairs and then tell her she needs to leave 20 minutes later. She had to do it right then.
I know it was harsh. It was harsh. There was a couple of other things here. But okay, so this was another thing where when she was with her brother and they were out in the barn, and he said, "I beat the crap out of the sofa so that I don't beat the crap out of other people." And Villanelle's like, "Why don't you just beat the crap out of other people?" Right? And it's like you went back, and it's like, okay, I know psychologically, right, they say that you blame your mom for all your problems, right, or whatever in life, but like, I felt really bad there. I was like, oh, what am I doing to my child upstairs? But you do need that outlet. But it made me sad that Villanelle, she had no other outlet. She was like, well, F it, just hurt the people themselves then. Like,
oh yeah, she took it to that crazy extreme, not even like, oh, I'm going to like get really good at a discipline or a sport or something like that, right, where I can, have competition. So it was just, I'm going to kill people. Like, there was no in between.
They hurt you, go hurt them back. Right. Yeah. And while I respect the truth of that, right, and like the purity in a way, you're like, you can't live your life like that. In terms of competition, though, she was quite good when she went back home to Russia, Mother Russia, there with the dung throwing contest. I want to talk about that outfit because I freaking love this skirt. So Wade, if we can pull up that green skirt, I don't know if you could see all the details on this, Megan, at all the points, but like, it actually is this kind of army green skirt that zips up on the side, and then when you unzip it, it has this kind of ruffle element to it, which is so beautiful. So it's, yeah, Sakai for $7.75. I don't know if this one is still available, but I love that when you saw it unzipped and you could see more of that, I don't know, that like ruched up part. I thought that was so pretty. And then these are also Sakai by Nike sneakers for $703. So that is steep, but I'm here to help, folks. I'm here to help because we have visual aids. Okay, so these are some Converses that I got a while ago, like maybe a year ago or something. Granted, they're not exactly like the Sakai's, but these are some high top Converse, and I think these were probably like $35. So if people are in the market for those kind of things, I know, you and Joe are also really into sneakers. Have you seen anything similar to those high tops?
Kind of reminded me of like a Margiela. This of them. So they kind of, Joe has actually some really sick Margiela high tops that they remind me of. Color style of the shoe. I'm trying to think who else makes high tops like that. Oh, what is the brand with
Comme des Garçons makes some similar as well.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Similar ones
so they
too.
definitely have some. So then there's a couple of other things I want to talk about on the clothes. So wait, if we could also, so here's the thing, Megan, I'm actually a dork with these black jackets. So this black jacket that she had on is very similar to what I have here. Okay, so this is literally just a jacket I got at the Army Navy store, but it looks just like what she's wearing. Now, I did add a Star Trek pin to it because I'm a dork. It wasn't really I've actually worn this in pictures. People are, oh my God, where'd you get that Federation blazer, bro? But so this looks very much like the jacket that she's wearing in there. And I just wanted to tell people that this black one I did get. So this is again Sakai. This is $1,000, $1,999. But I bought this at an Army Navy store, basically like an Army supply store, years and years and years ago. Again, probably for about $25. So I would look there, and then also I'm going to show you another version of it because we're a little bit of fiends when it comes to this style of jacket, Megan. Aurora and I are kind of fiends, so we have it in red. This one is from Zara, and it's literally almost the exact same thing. So this one is from Zara, and we also have it in a pale pink. And you guys know Zara is very well priced. This is last season, but I would be very surprised if they didn't still have it. So I would say to you guys out there, go to Army Navy supply stores or Zara if you want to sort of recreate that jacket look.
Love it. I love it. I wish I was at home because I have a denim jumpsuit.
Oh, you do?
Denim jumpsuits. I do. And maybe we could just like do a follow-up on one of the later episodes where I could just wear it because I love a denim jumpsuit, and I'm like real sad about it.
Yeah, no. We'll have to definitely do some follow-ups because this is the thing is I didn't know, it's like, should this show just evolve into show and tell? But I started to think that some of it would, and I was like, well, no, let me just show the clothes because they're helpful. But like even some of the shoes, like the shoes she was wearing, like those creepers and stuff, I think I have something kind of similar. It's like, okay, this isn't just going to turn into show and tell. But I did want to let people know that if they wanted to recreate that look, go to Army Navy stores and or Zara. Okay, now I'm putting on these Elton glasses as if these are my real reading glasses. So we know we're in trouble. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, though, is just at home. Okay, so this beautiful, the Paca Rabanne, the patterns and everything. I think they said this one was sold out. Now, this does also look like stuff from Missoni. I don't know if you're down with Missoni.
Oh.
You like Missoni too, yeah? Oh, we broke up. What? Okay, there you are.
I haven't had it. Back.
Oh, wait, say that again? Oh, the internet in your hotel sucks.
The fighters are on our way.
Okay, wait, we heard you for a second and then all right, there we, okay, so listen. Try again. We lost you for a second.
Not working?
There you are. We can hear you again.
This is the worst Wi-Fi.
Well, listen, it's tough. We know it's tough trying to go live, and we've got her across the country in a hotel. We can wrap it up quickly, but I do want to ask you, the next episode, we only have 3 left, which is kind of crazy to me that it's going this quickly. Do you have like kind of hopes for where this season goes? Like, where do you have your expectations for how this season might go with Villanelle and Eve, since we've gotten some closure from Villanelle, but Eve is still kind of up in flux with Nico dead and not a real job and just kind of hanging out a bitter pill and not really staying here or there. Like, what are you kind of hoping for at the end of this?
Hoping for some of the loose strings to come together.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them. I know we can't expect, but just some of them. Whether it is we find out that they catch Dasha for Nico's murder, or Eve does some work at the actually moves forward to avenge Kenny's death.
Right.
Or we learn something about Carolyn's daughter that maybe we're suspecting. Right. I also think there could be something where Villanelle, because of her mom, maybe helps Eve with the Kenny situation because, she knows the mom is grieving. I don't know. I just think that there could be we need something to come together because there are a million plots right now. And they're all kind of moving out a bit, but none of them are really coming back together.
Yeah, it is interesting because certainly motherhood is a theme in this. And granted, it's Mother's Day right now, but motherhood is a theme in this. Like you said, with Carolyn and her daughter, Villanelle now getting rid of her mom. That will come into play, and it will be interesting. Yeah, for me too. I hope they do find some resolution with Kenny. Like I don't necessarily expect for Eve and Villanelle to either, come together and be a couple by the end of the season or anything like that. But yeah, I would like a little bit more clues on Kenny. I would like, I guess, I don't know how it's going to end. Like, obviously the chase is going to continue, I would hope. I mean, last time we had that cliffhanger whether or not Eve was even dead. So, I don't know. But I feel like getting some history on Villanelle and understanding her motives and why she's damaged is going to help us. But everybody in this show is damaged. So,
every single person. Literally every person.
Yeah, no, everybody is damaged. All right, well, so let me see. I think we have some questions here or some Mother's Day. Okay, so let me see here. Whoops. Let me reload this one so we can see if we have some questions here before we wrap up. Okay, so here we go. I'm not seeing the feed on the comments though. Unfortunately, here. What is happening? I'm sorry, people. I'm trying to do this live, and I have my iPad over here, and I'm not seeing the questions coming in. Maybe my sidekick, Aurora, can help me for a second trying to figure this out because I want to read the questions. We want to look at the ones for, are you from Pin? Oh, okay, here we go. We got an assist here. Okay, so Classy Nasty is laughing at my Star Trek, so whatever. By the way, I should say, if you guys watched Picard at all, and you saw a woman who plays Rafi, who looks kind of like me, that is my friend Michelle, and she's a total badass. And actually, Megan, I think you've met Michelle because her husband Garrett is on The Walking Dead, on Fear the Walking Dead, and they're big fight fans. So I feel like you have met them at fights before. So I think you have met Michelle and Garrett. I think you know them. Yeah, I think you know them. All right, so there's this saying, thank you. People are appreciating that we're giving them some tips on how to get the fashion on a price. So we are here for you. We are here to help. People are saying Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it very much. And somebody said the coronavirus got your computer. Might be true. Hope not.
Didn't get me, but
yes. Yeah, I hope it. Yeah, get the computer and not the woman. But yes, all right. And everybody's also saying that everybody thought the fights delivered last night as well. So we've kind of wrapped up the Killing Eve episode. It was definitely one where we found out. Oh, thanks, little Snoop. Wait, what, did he say one more thing? I missed Little Snoop. Thank you, Little Snoop. But yeah, this episode was definitely so much more focused on Villanelle and kind of laid some groundwork for some things. But so Megan, since we are fight people, I'll ask you before we wrap it up here. Was there one fight though last night that was your favorite or kind of got you the most emotionally invested?
I mean, the main.
Yeah.
It was just incredible.
It really was.
I freeze again? Oh, I thought I froze. I think two incredible athletes put on a show that I don't often see replicated. Absolutely loved it, but I thought the co-main event was incredible. Bryce Mitchell was incredible. There are some just huge performances. Calvin Cater. I mean,
Yes.
it was a really great night.
It really was, and just even watching at home, I am the biggest Tony fan, and I think Justin is such a great guy, and so it was one of those fights where you're just like, again, may the best man win. We think of that all the time, but at the same time, Tony's been on such a tear, and it was sort of heartbreaking to see him lose after all this time, but at the same time, I thought that Justin made so many great adjustments. And, people always talk about Justin, they're like, he's wild and he just, goes in there and throws down. And he was so much more technical last night. And I thought that was a really exciting development to see Justin, who we know can brawl, be more technical. And the fact that he also has wrestling that he almost never uses. So that when he and Khabib throw down, I think it's going to be a great fight.
I think it's going to be incredible. I cannot wait for it, especially after seeing him perform like that. I'm glad it went to that 5th round because to see how he would fare after throwing the kitchen sink at Tony and never stopping that pace on short notice. You know what I mean? It wasn't a full training camp for him. So I thought that was really important for how we can preview this matchup with Khabib.
Yep. I think it's going to be great. I also know it's getting late for you there. And so we can wrap it up. You got to get your sleep. But again, we will see you on Wednesday night and again on Saturday. You'll be working those fights, and I have a bunch of interviews with these folks. I already talked to Glover and Anthony and Angela, and I'll probably be talking to Walt tomorrow, so folks can look forward for those interviews as well. So Megan, while you are in Florida doing all this stuff, where can folks find you on social media?
On Instagram and
Okay, yes, and you can see it right there on the screen, folks. And again, we apologize that the Wi-Fi wasn't as great as it could have been. Blame Florida.
I'm trying.
She's trying, but we appreciate you guys tuning in. And like we said, we have 3 more episodes of Killing Eve, which means definitely at least 3 more Killing Even Mores. And maybe at the end of the season, we would have to do a big, extra party episode 2 or something like that. So... Cool.
Perfect.
Well, once again, you guys can also follow Wade Eck for producing all of this stuff. And again, if you want to just see the stuff, we have killingevenmore.com, and he's got all this up there, and we have all the other episodes in case you have missed them. So hopefully you can go back and check them out. But looking forward to the next episode. And Megan, be safe in Florida. Be safe.
Well, I love masks anyway. It'll be great.
Great. Yes, you do always wear them. Be a good girl. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, folks, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.